Hey, I'm Anna Kunicki of DeclareDominion.com. I'm the founder of the Queen Sweep. Thank you for watching these videos. Yesterday, I showed you the 3 spots that you absolutely must have in your home. So if you haven't watched that yet, go watch it. It's going to make a huge difference for you. But today I want to talk to you about what's next. I know it might seem silly that these tiny little systems and tweaks, a box, a pending thing, can really make a difference, because I know that your life, like my life, is complicated. But I want you to think back to that story I told you in the very first video, when I was a new mom, back to work after having a baby, and I was so overwhelmed. And remember what made a difference? It was something so little and so simple. It was a teeny tiny little postcard. And on the one hand, the postcard didn't change everything. There was a lot of things that have happened in my life since then. But the postcard was a turning point for me because it was the first thing that made me feel hopeful. That maybe I could change my life. Maybe there were things I could do that would make a real difference. Maybe I could have a life that worked, maybe even one that I was proud of. And so that postcard was just one little thing, but it was a hugely important thing for me. But of course, it's not just the one thing, right? It's not even the box of things or the spot for your keys, or the postcard. It's not any one of those things. It's when you have the one thing, and then you do another thing, and then you do another and another and another and another, and you start to layer these systems on top of each other. That's when all of a sudden the real magic kicks in. I know it might sound a little bit like I'm saying 2 + 2 = 1,000, but honestly, after having worked with thousands of women, that is a little bit what it feels like. So I use these systems in my day-to-day life. And here I am in my very own bedroom. We're not in a studio. This is our very modest house. 7 of us live here in under 2,000 square feet. I'm here wearing my everyday daily uniform. You'll notice I'm always wearing the same sweaters in every photo and the videos that you're seeing here. It's because this is my uniform. I have 5 kids. We all have to be out of the door, all 7 of us, in the morning. And I do not have time to have an existential crisis in front of my closet every morning. So I have a uniform. I bought my very favorite sweater that Anthropologie has ever made. I bought a bunch of them. They're just hanging there. And I just grab for one in the morning. I don't have to think about it. But I still get to wear something that I absolutely love every day. I probably wear either my summer, winter, fall, spring uniform 92% of the time. And then the rest of the time I get to dress up and it's fun. Again, just one teeny tiny little system. That alone is not going to make, not going to change everything for you. But what happens is that when you start to put them all together, you can make a beautiful change happen. And so this is the stuff that I use in my everyday real life, which is complicated and messy and not perfect. But it's also these systems that have sustained me through some of my big life transitions. So I talked to you about when I was back in Tokyo as a new mom. That life came to an abrupt end, but change in 2011 when the earthquake and tsunami devastated northern Japan, and I ended up leaving Tokyo very abruptly with my very young daughter. When I moved to Portland, where I set up a brand new life from scratch, I started a new business. I created a very happy life there, and then just recently I've had another very big life transition. I fell in love with an amazing Canadian. So I've upended my whole life. I've gone from being a city single mom with 1 kid to a suburban mom with 5 kids and a dog and 2 snakes and a minivan. And throughout those big life transitions, these systems are what have kept me sane and even kept life beautiful. Because if you have to leave the country in the middle of the night, you damn well better know where your passport is. And if you want to start a brand new business, you're going to need to find about 20 extra hours in your week to make that business happen, on top of all of the other things that you're already doing still happening. And if you want to go from having 1 kid to 5 kids, you're going to want a uniform, I promise. It's amazing. So these aren't just nice theories. This is how I actually live. And there's no one system or tweak or hack that's going to change everything for you. But when you can start to take steady, cumulative, consistent action And when you can start to layer those systems on top of each other, that's when everything can start to change. Because you don't just need a system for your clothes or your keys, you need one for all your paper. You need one to handle your finances, from the day-to-day stuff like billing, all the way up to the big stuff like your investments and your savings. You need systems to handle the little tiny things like when you change your diaper, do you have all the things that you need? All the way to the big things like what are your goals? Are you making progress toward the things in your life that are truly, truly, truly important? So when you have a system for everything, your paper, your finances, your groceries, your clothes in your closet, your to-do list, oh my God, the to-do list. It's kind of amazing because when you can get on top of that stuff, that's when you make space for the things that really matter. Whether that's the book you want to write or the business you want to start or the family that you actually want to spend time with or that trip you've always wanted to take. This is how we make room for the stuff that really, really matters. We get some of that day-to-day chaos in order. Now, a note of caution, because we are at the end of the year, and what happens with New Year's is that people go a little bit crazy. I totally do this too. And we're like, all right, New Year's resolutions, I'm going to change everything. I'm going to start exercising and meditating and saving more money and da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And the problem with this approach, of course, is that we're setting ourselves up for total failure because nobody can change everything overnight. That's not how humans work. We don't make consistent long-term changes all at once. It's just not how we do it. So I urge you to resist that madness. And I urge you to pick one thing. What is one thing in your life that is bugging the crap out of you? Could you tackle that one thing? Could you do it today? If you can't do it today, write it down on that to-do list. If you haven't done the Queen Sweep, it might be a little bit overwhelming. You might have 4 to-do lists. It's okay. Pick one. Write it down. Pick a time you're going to do it. But at the same time, I want you to pull back and I want you to think about your life and think about what are some of those systems that you need to have in place so that life can run a little bit more smoothly so that you can do those things that really matter. Sometimes the biggest, most exciting projects and accomplishments and triumphs of our life can only happen when we get some of that really humble stuff in order. And it's not super glamorous, but it's the fundamental foundation that is what lets us do those more exciting things. So just think for a second in your own life, what do you need? What do you need in place? And then I strongly urge you, don't try to do all of them at once. Do them one at a time. It's when we start to layer these things on top of each other one at a time that the magic starts to happen. Wow, I'm a life coach and I just said the magic starts to happen. That is totally not okay, but it happened. We're just gonna roll with it. Sometimes I'm such a dork, I can't even handle myself. But I get really excited about this stuff because I have seen it work amazing transformations in my own life, and I have now helped thousands of women create truly remarkable changes in their own lives, and often it started with something as simple as cleaning out their closet. When you shift things around in the physical world, you create powerful internal shifts. I can't explain it. It sometimes seems like magic. I don't think it is. I think there's laws of physics at work that we can't quite explain, but I will tell you that I've watched it happen. And where it happens is not with big overnight, I'm gonna do everything, I'm gonna clean out my whole life. It's when you give yourself the time and the space and the structure to take little tiny steps, but to keep taking them and keep taking them and keep taking them and keep taking them. So if you would like more help taking these steps, creating these systems that are going to support you so that you can do the stuff that really matters to you, stay tuned. Monday, January 2nd, I'm going to be making a very big announcement about how you can get my help putting this all together and learning the exact systems that I use myself and that I have now taught to thousands of women. I'm wishing you a very, very happy New Year and wonderful things in 2017. Thanks so much for watching. Happy New Year!